welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Hallie and today's video is going to be baby names I love but won't be using for baby number 2. If you guys are new here, I am currently 17 weeks. If you hear some background noise, it is my 11-month-old daughter, Magnolia Jane. She is going to be a big sister come October. So today's video is going to be 5 girl names and 5 boy names I love but won't be using. This is not in collaboration with my fiance. These are kind of like the names I was talking about in the beginning. They're some of my favorite names. Some of these names he really does like and some of these names he really doesn't. But this is my YouTube channel, my list of names I love but won't be using. So I have 5 girls and 5 boys. At the current moment, we don't know the gender of the baby yet. We don't have a name picked out. So if Kyle or I told you a name and we're like, this is what baby number 2 is going to be named, scratch that. We have not decided what the baby is going to be named, and we're not going to share till the baby is born, because up until this point we have changed our name so many times. We've thought we've had the name finalized and it's just not. We just can't decide what we're gonna name this baby. But I do know that the 10 names on this list we won't be using. I have a list of about 10 on a separate list of names that are all kind of in consideration right now. But let's just get into it. I think I'm going to start with girls and then move on to boys. So there will be timestamps in the description box down below if you're only interested in one or the other. Alright guys, to get into this list, I'm going to start with girls. And the very first name on this list, I actually wanted to use for a boy or a girl. I tried to talk Kyle into this name for weeks. I absolutely love it, and that is the name Indigo. So I really like this name for the fact that it is a color, it is also a flower, and if you guys didn't know, my oldest child, Magnolia, that is a flower, so I really liked the idea of having another flower name. But also with the name Indigo, I really like the name Indy. I was on Pinterest and I was seeing like these name signs that were Indy and like people naming their daughters or their sons Indy, and I really liked that. But I didn't want it to be the full name. But also I don't like Indiana as a name. I mean, if that's what you guys named your child, like, it's fine for you. It's just not for me because I do live close to Indiana. I live in Missouri, so it's not like, I don't know. I just didn't like the idea of that. I didn't like the idea of India either because that is a country. I really liked the name Indigo. I wanted to go with Indigo Faye and call her Indy Faye, but that just didn't happen for me and I'm fine with it. We just weren't on the same page. But if you guys are looking for a unique color and floral name, definitely consider Indigo. I absolutely love it. Alright guys, the second girl's name I love but won't be using is Faye or Faylin. So I said for Indigo I wanted to use the middle name Faye. I kind of went through a phase where I couldn't imagine my daughter having a name that didn't have Faye in the first name or the middle name, and this is because Faye means fairy, and I just really liked the idea of having that in the name somewhere because I think it's a really pretty whimsical meaning. But for Faye as a first name, I just didn't think it was long enough. And for Faylin, I'm not really a fan of the A and the E right next to each other. I couldn't find a way to spell Faylin that I just loved. I love the name more than I love the spelling. And for a name, when it comes to like your baby, you want to like the way that it looks on paper, on decor, when you put it on a Christmas card, you just want to like the way that it looks. And I just couldn't find a way to spell Faylin that I liked. But I do like the name Faye or Faylin, so if you guys are looking for something kind of whimsical, that would be an option for you. Moving on to the third girl's name I love but won't be using, that is the name Gaia. I love this name. The name Gaia just really speaks to my nature-loving side, and just, I love how it ends in an A. I mean, I have a Magnolia, and I thought Gaia would sound good with it as well. Gaia was a Greek goddess. You guys can look more into her if you want, but in a sense she is kind of like Mother Nature. That would be the quickest way I could explain it to you. I just thought Gaia was very pretty, it was elegant, and it has a backstory to it. So when she was looking up her name, she could, you know, see it was from a side of her mom loving nature and just all of these things. But it wasn't our top pick for a girl, but I really do love this name and would absolutely love if anybody else used it. The fourth girl's name I love but won't be using is Evangeline. I adore this name. My fiance does not like this name, like, at all. I really like it. I like how elegant it sounds. I just really think it's a pretty name. I think the problem for me when it comes to this name and not fighting for this name, being like, oh my gosh, I want this name to be like my daughter's name, is the fact that Evangeline doesn't have a nickname that really sticks out to me. And I know that since it's so long, people would want to shorten it. And I didn't really like Eva because I know somebody named Eva, and I don't want to name my kid anything like that is related to anybody I know. Same with Angie. I have an Aunt Angie. I do not like the name Angel at all for a boy or a girl, so I wasn't feeling that. So honestly, Evangeline we didn't go with because one, my fiance doesn't like it, and two, there's not a nickname that really sticks out for me with Evangeline, but I think the name is beautiful. And if you guys don't have ties to an Eva, I think Eva is a beautiful nickname for this name. I just know somebody, so that's why I wouldn't use it. Alright guys, and the fifth and last girl name I love but won't be using is Ruth. So my fiance and I both actually really love this name. This is just such a simple name, and I feel like people who know me would never expect that I would like this name, but my daughter's middle name is Jane. It's Magnolia Jane, and that's kind of how I feel about Ruth. It's just a very short and simple classic vintage name that I like. We, honest to God, did not use this name because his last name starts with an R, and I don't like the sound of RR, so it would have been like Ruth Rolls, and I didn't like that. And even as a middle name, I didn't like the two R's next to each other. Like, for example, if it was Evangeline Ruth Rolls, I just don't like how it sounds together. But I adore this name. He loves this name. It just is unfortunate that his last name starts with an R for this particular name. But if you guys are looking for something that is short and sweet and classic, and honestly, I feel like a lot of people aren't using at the moment because everybody kind of wants to be unique and not use the classic names, I think Ruth would be so perfect. I absolutely adore this name, but my baby's last names start with R, so I can't use it. We are moving on to boy names. So before I start, I struggle with boy names so badly. Part of the reason our second child isn't named yet is because what I was saying is that we can't agree on a boy's name. We don't have the same naming style at all. I like the super boho, floral, nature-inspired type names, and he likes those to a point. He likes names for boys that are a little bit more classic, a little bit more popular, and I don't like popular names. I thought Magnolia's name was a little bit more unique than it was, but I'm totally happy with her name and where it's ranking and all that good stuff. But I don't like boy names that are super popular. I just feel like I know so many boys with so many names, and like, I don't know. It's just been really hard for us to name a boy, but these are 5 names that I like. I don't necessarily love any of them. The only 2 that I really love, I have certain reasons why I can't use them, so I'm just gonna get into them so you guys can hear them. The first boy's name I really like is Brigham, with the nickname Briggs. So I really like this name, but I wouldn't use it because Briggs ends in an S and my fiance's last name ends in an S, so it'd be like Briggs Rolls, and I just think that sounds horrible. But I like the name Brigham because I've never heard it before. You do get the really cute nickname Briggs. It's just something that I personally can't use, but I would suggest this name to people who are looking for something a little bit more out there. The second boy's name on my list that I love but won't be using is Ali. I really like this name, and this was probably the boy's name I fought for the most, just because I really like it. I liked how it was short, which is surprising because for girl names I tend to like really long names. But I really like the name Ali. I don't know anybody who has this name. I think it's easy to say and pronounce and spell. It isn't in our top for what we're going to be using, but I really like this. If you guys are looking for something a little bit more different, I would suggest Ali. It could almost be an alternative to Ollie if you guys like Oliver or Ollie, but I just like the A-L-I, Ali. I think it's just nice and simple, and it's a boy name I love, but I'm not gonna use. Moving on to my third baby boy name that I love but won't be using. If you guys have watched any of my baby name videos before, this is not going to surprise you, and that is the name Sebastian. I absolutely adore the name Sebastian. I won't use it because of 2 different factors. One of them being that it's ranked pretty high right now, like top 50. I actually think it might be top 20. I haven't looked recently, but it's very high ranked, and that is just something that is a no-go for me. And two, I don't like any nicknames that come from Sebastian. I wish I liked Seb or Bash or Bastion, but I just don't like any of those things. I just really like Sebastian as a full name, and I know that since it's so long, people aren't always going to call him Sebastian. So for all of those reasons, I won't be using it, but this is probably one of my all-time favorite boy names. Moving on to my fourth boy name I love but won't be using. This name, Kyle and I both absolutely adore, and we would be naming our son this if baby 2 is a boy, if we both didn't have a cousin named this. I have a cousin named this, and he has a cousin named this, so for obvious reasons we can't use it. But that is the name Grayson. We both love this name. I love how it's a color, but it also ends in son. We talked about a lot of different names that end in S-O-N, but Grayson was our favorite. We can't use it because we are related to people named Grayson, but I love this name. If you guys don't personally know anybody named Grayson, name your sons this. It is just so good. It is just such a good name, and we can't use it. And honestly, I'm super bummed about it because we don't have a boy name picked out right now, because this was like one of the only ones we could agree on. But we're getting closer to a boy's name. But as always, if you guys have any suggestions for baby number 2, please put them in the comments, because the name is not finalized yet. And moving on to my very final boy's name, I have the name Fisher. I actually never ran this name by my fiance because like I like it, but not enough to like fight for it, not really enough to suggest it. But Fisher, I like the way it sounds. I like that it's an occupational name. I really like names that can tie in to decor or things like that. Like with Magnolia, anytime I see anything with a magnolia on it, I buy it. People in her family do the same thing. They're like, oh, this made me think of Magnolia. I like the idea of doing that, and if your name was Fisher, you could definitely do that with fish. And I just really like names like that, like I talked about indigo because it's a color and it's a flower, and I just really like a lot of names for that reason, just because I did pick Magnolia, and we have so many things for her that have a magnolia flower on them. I want to be able to do that with my second child as well, so that they can kind of have things that represent their name. But anyways, that was kind of a little tangent I just went on, but that's kind of why names have been hard for us, because I really like the fact that Magnolia is a physical thing. And I have looked at names that mean things so that I could do the same thing with the meaning. It has just made naming this baby hard because I want everything to be fair. Like, I don't want her to have all this stuff in her room that is magnolias, and then my second baby be like, oh, well, my name is this name, and there's literally nothing that I can get that represents my name. So anyways, little rant over, but those are my 10 baby names I love but won't be using. My baby is due October 14th. I find out the gender at the end of May. I will have a gender reveal video coming out the first week of June. So if you guys want to subscribe and stick around for that, I would absolutely love it. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps my channel. And yeah, if you have any video suggestions you want to see during my pregnancy, please leave them in the comments. Any name suggestions, leave those in the comments as well. If you just want to chat, leave me a comment. Like, I'm here to chat with you guys and all that good stuff. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!